Okay, so let's talk about my buzzword of manual override. Manual override seems to be getting a lot of happy attention. So, consciously, things are I'm here in front of you, in front of the camera, I'm sitting on this chair. Consciously, I can speak. Consciously, I can attend to whatever's happening in my environment at this moment. Consciously, I take action. Consciously, I can recall short term things. Consciously, I can go in and maybe retrieve long term things. So, those are kind of what's in the forefront of the consciousness. But 95% of all the stuff that we know and don't know is in the subconscious. So, it's in containers. Some are very locked and sealed and dark, and some are you can go in and manually bring it forward. So you can pay attention to it and draw attention to it in order to resolve, dissolve, forgive, love, let go of. So factually, we are running off of 5% of consciousness. And, there's an example of that was coming to mind. When you can consciously be in the conscious moment where you're sitting in this chair, and then you start to do something, and then next thing you know, time goes by, or you're sitting in the chair and you have no recollection that you just ate the whole bag of potato chips while you were doing something, because consciously you slipped into the unconscious and the subconscious. And so bringing that forward into the now moment dictates a lot of our behavior because of the programming that's stored in the 95%. So when we set our intention to consciously override habitual things and we want to change, replace, create new, it takes due diligence and it takes action, and it also takes forward action. So we're not only setting ourselves right here and right now, we are pre-planning for how the future minutes are going to come. So how do we do that? We do that when we're going on a food dietary change. We meal prep, so there isn't any question about what it is that we're about to eat. We have someplace to go maybe tomorrow, so we clothing prep, right? We maybe set our timer, our alarm, so we're up sooner. So we prep for traffic. We also pad our day full of the unknowns that could happen so that you're not in this fight or flight any more than you have to be, or running by the seat of your pants. And there's a lot of fires to put out all day because you didn't leave enough time in between certain things. When I used to work in the medical field, I still do. But when I used to work in a certain office back in the 80s, and we designed the schedules, and when I became one of the supervisors, I padded that schedule where I would say we have appointments every 15 minutes, but every 2 hours, 15 minutes was X'd off. It was X'd out. And at first, the group of physicians I worked with was like, why is there X here? I said, that's called breath time. They say, what? I said, that's called overlag time for when you run late with your patients, or you have to stop and make the phone calls, right? Because you'll make time out for lunch, but you work all through your lunch, but then you're running late, and then all these patients are suffering for it, and then your office staff is suffering for it. So if we could just, and I got a lot of resistance for it. So I personally do my schedule that way. I allow breath time. And so I consciously override what is going to be occurring and allow myself some time to reflect. How is my day going? Where can I stop, drop, sit, connect with my breath? Where, it allows me to take care of certain unexpected things that are going to present themselves in my day, so that I'm not on constant autopilot or chasing fires. And at the end of the day, I realize I really didn't go to the bathroom. I really didn't drink enough water. I really didn't eat. I didn't get this done on my list. I didn't get that done on my list. So that is old programming that needs to stop, and it has to stop through manual override actions. And so that is why I've been doing and started the series, Becoming Your Own Day Planner, your own designer of your day designer. So I'm just doing little minis on those. Pay attention to them. So every day you are consciously putting in your forefront to stay in the conscious mind, to stay fully present, to feel everything that is going on around you. Feeling is filtering information that will let you take it in from the external, process it through the internal, and pass it back out to the external. And hopefully it's done with success. But when we're running off our subconscious programming all the time, you're going to keep the conscious in the lower percentage and in the smaller container. And I'm telling y'all, we're here in this lifetime to override manually all of that and to give almost all of our space the capability of being in higher percentages of being in the conscious mind, to do everything mindfully by setting conscious intention and scheduling that in our day. So maybe it's pick up the phone and call a friend. Maybe it's reach out and touch somebody that has come into your mind, but you didn't make the time to go do that. And a couple days go by and you feel bad, something occurred, and then you wished that you had picked up the phone at that time, but you didn't allow any, what I want to call that filling in between the sandwich. You were just sandwiched in between a whole lot of crap, but you weren't allowing some fluff into that scheduling. And fluff used to be a luxury. Fluff is no longer a luxury. Fluff is a necessity. It's a necessity. And that goes back to, in the last 20 some years, more and more women are taking the time for their women friends. They're taking their time for spa time. They're taking their time to stop, drop, and roll the hell out of town and get together and go do something. And I know for me, I met with resistance when I was married. Well, isn't that nice that you could go and get your nails done or get a massage or take an aerobics class or yoga, because I didn't. And I used to say, hey, I'm sorry you didn't put that in your calendar. I'm a better person for it. You want to beat me up about that? Or do you want me to go back to the hectic harebrain I was before all that? Before I took control, consciously, manually overrided programs that were driving me into the ground. And then I couldn't be the best person to myself. And I couldn't be the best person to my spouse or the best person to my children or doing the best person jobs to my jobs. They were all going to be failing because they were hitting crash and burn. And then most of us think that's norm, and it's not. It's not. It's a massive distraction to burn you up, burn you out, so that you can't find successes in anything, big, small, or in between. And so, if you want to make changes in your life and have more mindfulness, find glimpses of peace and joy and bliss and laughter and deeper breathing and, God forbid, massive healthiness, and you want to take them beyond glimpses and make that part of your absolute day designing, organized, manually overrided self, it's going to require you to manually override. It is a requirement. People who have automatic cars, you know they're shifting for you. You get used to that. Now jump into a manual car and see if you can remember how to drive that, because you need a little more coordination. And so that's what I'm saying. Get a little more coordinated, get a little more into practicing, get a little more into an override and control of all your gears by paying attention to it, putting the brakes on, going back over your day, and manually overriding things that are sandwiching you out of your joy. Things that are like vice gripping you and you're headed for trouble. And the older you get, the harder it is to come back from the damage that gets done on a cellular level. The older you get running at that pace, the more damage you create on a cellular level. You feel me? Take time. Put smiling in your calendar. Uplift all of those muscles, which then do what? Give you a cascade of some amazing neurotransmitters and amino acids. Your endocrine system loves you for it. Smile. Just practice smiling. Override any chaotic inability to deal because you're not allowing the neurotransmitters to assist you in switching gears. A simple smile that uplifts you also uplifts those around you when you're just smiling and feel the cascade of neurotransmitters, serotonins, endorphins, all of it. Just feel it. Just drizzle and pour all over your cells and changing everything and putting you into a conscious, relaxed state so you can successfully go through your day. And the more you do that, the more consciously you will hit manual override. Be your day designer. Override it. You control that power. It's your health. It's your destiny. It's in your hands. That's right. It's in your hands. Grow the conscious mind. Grow big and grow tall through that conscious mind. And if you're not sure of some of the stuff, it's what I do. You can make a session with me. Get yourself on a different gear, and then you can just soar on your own. Yeah, that's right. Okay, please like, subscribe, and share. Leave me a comment on how you're doing. And practice that manual override. Manual override to more successful, healthier cells. And let the flow of amazing neurotransmitters fill your body so you can feel deeper and more conscientiously with your intention. All right? So much love. Bye.